Hello, friends, new and old, and welcome to Read Aloud with Taya and Casey, where we will read amazing books and learn fun and awesome activities. We're happy you are here. Recap of what we're talking about and doing today.
Yep.
Casey and I are going to be reading a book about what it is like to be an inventor and to invent things. We are wearing our heavy-duty industrial clothing, like my Carhartts, Casey's shop jacket, and his shop shoes. We have our safety goggles to stay extra safe when we're inventing and building. And we're going to be using some tools today that are pretty cool, and tools that maybe you thought were only for adults, but actually, if you are safe and you practice them with a parent or with an adult with you, you could definitely give them a try. And we're going to show you how you can try those tools safely or age appropriately so that you're nice and safe, but that you can learn a really cool new skill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most important thing is make sure you check in with your adult before starting any of these projects.
Yeah, that is the most important thing probably that we'll be talking about today. You want to have a safe body, and you want to have a safe place that you're working in. And you yourself, to have a safe body, you should definitely have an adult there to make sure that whatever you're doing is well supervised, because that'll protect you. And that's the most important thing, protecting yourself. Yeah. Well,
Taya,
yeah.
Should we start with the book?
Yeah. I have mine here, and you have yours there.
Yes, I don't have a photocopy anymore. We actually both grabbed this.
Look at us go. We knew this would be a fun thing for us to read.
Yeah.
So today we are going to be reading Rosie Revere Engineer.
Engineer? Taya, what's an engineer? Does anyone know what an engineer is out there?
Oh my goodness. Well, I'm going to look at the
cover.
Do with
an engine?
Sometimes when I think about big words, I sometimes like to look at the pictures to maybe help me understand a little bit about what might the book be about, right?
Yeah.
And I think that works for words too. So let's see, engineer. We've got it kind of stenciled on this big font, and it looks like it's written on, this is a kind of special paper, isn't it, Casey?
This looks like something that we may have used in the labyrinth, but I definitely know gets used a lot in the tower.
Yeah.
Yeah. For math vitamins mostly.
It's a graph paper, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. Graphing paper. So my guess here is from Rosie Revere. Is that who the book? And then engineer probably has something to do with maybe building or constructing or inventing, and maybe a cross between all those things to be an engineer.
That makes the most logical sense to me, Taya.
Yeah. Well, should we find out?
Let's do it.
Cool.
Do you want to read the first page, Taya?
I would love to. This is the story of Rosie Revere, who dreamed of becoming a great engineer. In Lila Greer's classroom at Blue River Creek, young Rosie sat shyly, not daring to speak.
Okay. Oof. But when no one saw her, she peeked in the trash for treasures to add to her engineer's stash. And late at night, Rosie rolled up her sleeves and built in her hideaway under the eaves.
Ooh. Alone in her attic, the moon high above, dear Rosie made gadgets and gizmos she loved. And when she grew sleepy, she hid her machines far under the bed where they'd never be seen.
There's a lot of cool things happening under the eaves here, Taya.
Oh, should we go back and maybe do some zoom in pictures of those eaves? Whoa, look at all those things.
Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Well, when Rosie was young, she had not been so shy. She worked with her hair swooping over one eye and made fine inventions for uncles and aunts, a hot dog dispenser, and helium pants. Helium's in balloons, Taya.
Oh my goodness. Do you think it would be possible to have a pair of helium pants?
I don't know.
Raise your hand if you would love to have a pair of helium pants. Be pretty funny. And then if someone popped them, you'd be like, the uncle she loved most was Zookeeper Fred. She made him a hat to keep snakes off his head. From parts of a fan and some cheddar cheese spray, which everyone knows keeps pythons away.
Well, when it was finished, young Rosie was proud, but Fred slapped his knee and he chuckled out loud. He laughed till he wheezed and his eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who stood there embarrassed, perplexed, and dismayed. She looked at the cheese hat and then looked away. I love it, Fred hooted. Oh, truly I do. But Rosie Revere knew that that could not be true. She stuck the cheese hat on the back of her shelf, and after that day, kept her dreams to herself.
Oh my
Wow.
goodness. Casey, do you think Rosie is feeling pretty good right now?
No, I mean, she's hiding. Now she's not sharing all of her wonderful inventions with the world anymore.
Yeah. Do you think sometimes it's really hard to want to share your inventions?
It takes a big risk to show, something that you really put a lot of thought and effort into. And it may not work, or people may not like it, but it's a chance you got to take, right?
Yeah. So it's probably pretty hard to share something that you've put a lot of thought and love into and then have someone say they don't really like it or they think it's funny.
Yeah. I can understand why Rosie's feeling that way.
Yeah, me too. Has that ever happened to you? Have you ever made something and had someone make fun of it?
Several science projects.
Yeah.
What about you?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. And that's how it went until one autumn day, her oldest relation showed up for a stay. Her great Aunt Rose was the true dynamo who worked building airplanes a long time ago. She told Rosie tales of the things she had done and goals she had checked off her list one by one. She gave a sad smile as she looked to the sky. The only thrill left on my list is to fly. But time never lingers as long as it seems. I'll chalk that one up to an old lady's dream.
Well, that night, as Rosie lay wide-eyed in bed, a daring idea crept into her head. Could she build a gizmo to help her aunt fly? She looked at the cheese hat and said, no, not I. But questions are tricky and some hold on tight. But this one kept Rosie awake through the night. So when dawn approached and red streaks lit the sky, young Rosie knew just how to make her aunt fly. Taya, do you have any thoughts of what she's gonna do? Like, is she gonna go to the helium pants or try something different?
Well, I feel like Rosie's someone who really likes to make a lot of different new inventions. So I think she's going to make something different. And I think it's going to involve maybe something propeller-like.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I'm just guessing.
I can't imagine, a kid who's in elementary school getting access to a jet engine.
Yeah, I can't either. But maybe some well-glued popsicle sticks, because those could spin around quite quickly and make a propeller.
Absolutely. Easy access to those.
Yeah. She worked and she worked till the day was half gone, then hauled her cheese copter out onto the lawn to give her invention a test, just to see the ridiculous flop it might turn out to be. I think the most important word on this page is test. To give it a test. I feel like all inventions need a good test.
I agree. This is a weird one. Taya, I have to turn it this way to be able to read it. Wait, I turned it the wrong way. There we go.
I'll hold up the picture nice and close.
No, there we go. Strapped into the cockpit, she flipped on the switch. The Helio cheese copter sputtered and twitched. It floated a moment and whirled round and round, then froze for a heartbeat and crashed to the ground.
Whoa.
Good thing she tested this.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think the people that invented the first airplane just made one and then they were done?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. I bet they had a bunch of Rosie moments.
Yeah.
A lot of
so
Rosie
too.
moments.
Yeah. Yep.
Then Rosie heard laughter and turned round to see the old woman laughing and slapping her knee. She laughed till she wheezed and her eyes filled with tears, all to the horror of Rosie Revere, who thought, oh no, never, not ever again, would I try to build something to sputter or spin, or build with a lever, a switch, or a gear, and never will I be a great engineer.
So she turned round to leave, but then great-great-aunt Rose grabbed hold of young Rosie and pulled her in close and hugged her and kissed her and started to cry. You did it, hooray, it's the perfect first try. The great flop is over, it's time for the next. Young Rosie was baffled, embarrassed, perplexed. I failed, said dear Rosie. It's just made of trash. Didn't you see it? The cheese copter crashed. Yes, said her great aunt, it crashed. That is true. But first it did just what it needed to do. Before it crashed, Rosie, before that, it flew.
That seems like some pretty cool motivation.
Yeah, the perfect first try, she said.
Your brilliant first flop was a raging success. Come on, let's get busy and on to the next. She handed a notebook to Rosie Revere, who smiled at her aunt as it all became clear. Life might have its failures, but this was not it. The only true failure can come if you quit.
Oh, Taya, I see some propellers.
Oh my goodness.
They worked till the sun sneaked away to its bed. Aunt Rose tied her headscarf round Rosie's head and sent her to sleep with a smile ear to ear to dream the bold dreams of a great engineer.
At Blue River Creek, all the kids in grade two built gizmos and gadgets and doohickeys too. With each perfect failure, they all stand and cheer, but none quite as proudly as Rosie Revere.
Looks like a lot of kids turned into inventors after this. Looks like she inspired other kids.
I would definitely agree with that.
That's a pretty cool story, Taya.
Yeah, I really like that. Makes me excited for our next activity of becoming inventors.
Yes. Hold on. I lost something while we were reading. I'll be right back.
No, it's totally fine. So to get us started, I am going to talk to you guys a little bit about this crazy big tool.
Oh!
Have you ever seen one of these, Casey?
Yeah, I have one in my tool shop.
Cool.
Mine's yellow though.
This is called a power drill. And to get its power, it uses this large battery. Whoa, look at the size of this. It's bigger than a phone. Hello, Casey. Can you hear me? Am I coming in okay?
You're a little staticky.
How about now?
Someone's making a sound.
So I put my battery into my drill, and that's what gives it its power. And a drill can go two ways. It can go left ways and right ways. For right now, and hiding down here, I actually have a pretty cool activity that Casey and I both did two different variations of. And this one is mine. Do you think that a drill uses tack nails, or does it use drill-in nails?
Well, yes, drill-in nails, yes, but those have a special name. Do you know the name?
Drill-in, not drill-in nails?
It rhymes with shoe.
Woohoo nails.
You're close.
Two nails.
I'll give you the first sound.
A screw.
Got it.
Whoa. So
Third
screws, you screw in. Nails, you tack in.
Yep.
Wow. Amazing. So for this, I'm actually going to sneakily unscrew some of my nails, and I'm going to tip this down to show you my project. So here I have a board, and what I did was I took my handy dandy ruler and I did some measuring as any good engineer would, and I measured 2 inches between each of where all my screws would go, and I made this little grid, and I used a handy dandy pen to mark down where I wanted to screw in my nails. And the way that I use my screw, or my drill rather, is I will take my nail and I will gently place it, and then I very, very carefully hold my screw in place with one hand, and then I take my drill, and every drill bit is a little bit different, and this one has a special name. Casey, do you know what the special name of this drill bit is?
Is that the one that looks like the addition sign or the plus sign?
It absolutely is.
Oh, it is. I know that the way I remember it's the name of a person. Philip.
Philip. So this is a Phillips head drill bit and a Phillips head screw. And I'm going to align that to where my hole was. Boop. And I'm going to line up my plus sign with my plus sign because they fit together. Boop, like peas in a pod. And I will hold that very carefully, and I will squeeze. There's a little, just like a hot glue gun, there's a little button here, and that button, when you push it, makes your drill go. So I will push that button really lightly, and then I'll push down, and my screw will go in.
I noticed that you're not just pulling down on the trigger of the screwdriver.
Yeah, I don't want to go
You're just giving little bursts.
Yeah, I don't want to go too fast because especially with things like this drill is really heavy and the screw is kind of sharp and pointy. I want to be very careful about how much pressure I'm putting on all of those things, and about how safe I am with keeping my hands away from that drill bit coming down on my hands. So I move my hand away once my screw is in place, and then I very carefully push my screw into my board. And then if you have an arrangement of all these, then you can take things like a rubber band and start to work on making some fun shapes.
Taya, I've seen those before.
You have? Where?
Where would I have seen those?
In music class.
Ooh. No. Somewhere else. I want to think it has to do with like numbers and symbols and.
Ooh.
I
know. Does it rhyme with path?
Maybe Sath, Wrath, Kath, Hath, Math. Oh, it's a geoboard.
Whoa, cool.
You can make your own geoboard. Now, one thing, when I was getting my project together, my wife is also pretty clever and inventive as well.
Mhm.
And she said, why don't you get a cork board, if you have a cork board laying around, and some push pins.
Whoa,
And you can
yeah,
do the same thing.
you could.
Yeah, no power tools required. You just got to use your little pinchers there. I don't forget what that tool's called.
Yeah.
But
I wish we could show them, because I think a really good way to keep those, because we would probably use push pins, which are kind of like tack nails almost. I really wish there was a way we could show them how to maybe safely use some tack nails if they didn't want to use a screwdriver or a drill. I wish we could show them how to maybe make this, and then they could even practice tacking nails into a cork board too, which is another really safe way to practice using, a hammer, which is what you'd use for those tack nails.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good that you brought that up, because that was actually my project, using nails instead.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
And I'm just looking through. So I'll tilt this down. I'll show you what I have. I'll show you my
Cool.
setup.
Yeah.
Can you guys see that okay?
Yeah. Looks great, Casey.
Okay. I have all the tools I'm going to use except for one, and that's the one that's going to keep your fingers safe.
Mm.
And I think I know where I put it. So Taya, can you tell the kids something interesting, or?
Yeah, I'll tell them a little bit about that tool you're looking for.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Yeah. So a really great way to keep your finger safe whenever you're building or whenever you're tacking nails in specifically is to use something that kind of acts like a third arm. Because we have our two here, right? And we want to keep our fingers safe. We want to keep our hands safe. And sometimes when we're using big sharp metal tools or pointy little metal objects and putting them into stuff, it's good to keep your hands safe. And a great way to do that is by using a third arm that is not yours to hold stuff. So that could mean using something very special like these pliers. And that is what Casey was looking for. He's looking for pliers that he's going to use as like a third hand, essentially, to hold on and keep his own hand nice and safe, but to hold on to those nails while he hammers them in.
Yeah, it gives me a lot of extra space in case, especially when you're new practicing how to use a hammer, it's using hand-eye coordination. And when I was learning, I had to learn the hard way. So a lot of smashed thumbs. But hey, I'm okay. So this is a really handy way of doing it. These are all my tools. I'm wearing put my tool belt on.
Whoa, cool tool belt, Casey.
Yeah, I got a square for making sure that everything's doing, perfectly right angle. Mm-hmm. Got my tape measure.
Very cool.
I got a little level.
What does a level do?
Well, there's a little bubble in there.
Mm-hmm.
And when that goes right in the middle, that tells me it's perfectly even flat.
Whoa.
Pretty cool.
That's probably super helpful for like if you are building a desk or a countertop.
Why wouldn't you want to have a countertop that slopes down or up?
Oh, goodness. Well, I'm just imagining that if this were my countertop and I were, let's say, having my small cup of tea and my countertop was shaped like this, if I went to go put my cup down, it might not hold as well as something that's level.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, Taya.
Yeah.
All right, and that's why I keep that in there. I also have this really cool pencil. It's not like the ones we use at school because it's flat. And this actually has to do with, your slanted table. Why wouldn't I want to have this on a slanted table?
Well, let's see if we can test it out. Hold on.
Yeah.
I think I might have something similar. I have this round Sharpie. It fell right
All right.
off.
I'll try mine.
Whoa, not
Well,
as
it's not
bad.
rolling, but it's definitely sliding.
For sure.
Yeah, it actually even comes with a special pencil sharpener, or you can use a little blade.
Mm. That has a
Um,
special name too, doesn't it? That kind of pencil?
This is called a carpenter's pencil.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what I call it.
Because carpenters do what?
They put in carpets, right?
Oh, just carpets?
No,
No.
they're the people who build things.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's with wood and screws. Can you all see that okay?
Yeah, that looks great, Casey.
Okay. Just wanted to get a little closer to the action. You don't need to see me as much as. All right. So, just like Taya, I have this board. This was just laying around in my workshop. And I noticed that it's a little rough around the edges here.
Mm.
So I brought a little sanding block, got some sandpaper on it. And I'm just gonna kind of sand it down so I don't get any splinters. Because those hurt. Those are not fun. Some people even wear gloves when they're working with tools and wood. And then that's a great additional way of being safe as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I tend to not use them as much. Okay, so we have a little block here. I got these nails, and these are 1 pound nails. They're 1.5 inch long.
Mm.
And these are actually for framing. I also have my pliers. I also have some string, but that's not something you normally find in a workshop.
Yeah, I wonder what you're going to use that for.
And I have this. So what you can do is you can print out something like a shape that you want to do, or you can use your carpenter pencil. And I'm just gonna make one right there. So now I'm gonna hammer nails every maybe inch or so all the way around the perimeter of my wood. Now to do that, I'm gonna take my pliers and hold it like that.
Mm.
Now I work mostly with my left hand.
Oh, interesting.
And I didn't show you the other thing is my Fat Max Stanley hammer. Pretty heavy, it's got a good grip. When I was learning how to hammer originally, I used a really small hammer.
Mm.
Because this one, if you use this one on your little fingers, that would hurt really bad. But if you use a lighter one, it'll hurt, but it won't be as devastating as some of the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna hold that in my right hand, and I'm gonna set it down. You guys see that okay?
Yeah.
All right, and I'm making sure that it's straight up. And then I'm gonna put it right over. I'm gonna give it a little tap. Now, well, it didn't go in, but it made a little hole. And that's okay, so it's a little start. Now I can hold it down now and just give it some taps. There we go. It's not gonna go in all the way. I'll do it one more time with the pliers, and then I'll do it with showing you how someone who's had lots of practice can do this. So there you go. So now I have to go all the way around. Now, should I have done half of this before we did this? Probably. Is watching Casey hammer the most exciting thing in the world? I hope not. But a good test of my skills is to see how quickly and safely I can get all the way around. You guys feel like we're up for that game? Taya, you up for that?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. So let's, you want to count, Taya?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me when.
Ready, set, go. 1, 2. Everyone can count with me. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Ooh, what comes after our teens? 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25,
Halfway done, Taya.
26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38,
Come on.
39. Can you beat a minute? 40.
I think I can.
41, 42, 43, 44,
Last
45,
one.
46, 46 seconds. Yeah,
Done.
go Casey.
There we go.
Round of applause for Casey, everybody.
Now, I
Casey,
mean, it's not perfect.
it's not perfect, but that was, I mean, you're racing against the clock here. Now, Casey,
Yeah.
about how many years do you think you have been hammering in nails?
Let's see. Well, I think I started hanging out in my grandpa's workshop when I was about 5.
Okay.
So I've been practicing since then, and I'm almost 40. So I have a lot of practice.
So do you think, I'm just asking this question just to make sure, do you think that if you're just starting out hammering or using power tools, do you think it's a good idea ever to race?
No.
No.
And that was one thing, that was another thing I was going to say about being safe, is that, especially when you're working with tools, is go slow.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you try to rush, and that's kind of what I feel like with life too. Like when you start rushing things, you risk not doing your best work.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
we both have pretty short hair too, but I forgot to, and I also forgot to wear my glasses, silly me wearing my drilling. But the biggest safety things I would say in the top 3 are making sure you have an adult with you, wearing your safety glasses to protect your eyes. And then we both have short hair, but I would actually say putting your hair back, especially if you're going to use something like a drill or if you're hammering things into a surface, it's really good to get the hair back and away from your face. That way you can see everything out on the table and you don't have to worry about your hair accidentally getting, tacked down or something, because that would be pretty awkward.
Yeah, I completely agree.
So what are you going to do with that string, Casey?
All right, well, I got this a little more centered. This is I forget what they call this, but this is what my wife had in her sewing kit. But it's a little thicker than regular sewing.
Is that embroidery floss?
Maybe. Mm-hmm. But it's definitely thicker. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick one of the nails. It can be any nail. And I'm going to start with not outside. And then I'm just going to tie a little knot. And now it's connected. Like if I wanted to go for a walk, I'd be like, whoop, whoop, whoop. But that would be a silly idea. And this is something that's really good. Like if you're just sitting around with some free time. Mm-hmm. Some people knit. Some people do this. So you can just kind of send it across
Could you lower it just a little bit so we can see the top of the heart?
Lower it right there.
Yeah, you can go a little bit more if you want. Yeah,
okay.
there you go.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay. Cool. Now I noticed that when I started moving, it completely came undone. That's okay. If that happens, you can start just doing a single twist around so it stays. And maybe that's a good strategy. And that's what having these big nail heads around is, because they can.
And then the nail head is the top of the nail, right?
Yes, it's the head of the nail. And I'm not doing it on everyone, but
you made a star.
Oh my gosh, there's stars, there's triangles, there's so many cool shapes coming out of this. But I'm gonna make sure I get all of the nails that don't have a string on it yet first before I start repeating. I'll loop around again. So that one doesn't have one. And you can do this for as much string as you have. Oh, that one doesn't have one. We'll go there. Some people kind of go around the perimeter, which is the outside, the whole way, if you want to. But yeah. Oh, and I'm out of string.
Oh, that's there okay. You go.
There we go. So I'll just loop it around a few times on my last one, and I'll go under and just pull it tight. And then I can cut this string and this string later when I'm done. But I also have some red thread, but I'll start it the same way, and so that'll be kind of a mix of purple and red.
Very cool project, Casey.
Yeah. Ooh. So that's what I got.
Well, that concludes our read aloud for today. We learned some really cool things about power tools and how to use them, or our hammers and nails and how to use them. We would definitely say give them a try if your folks at home will allow that. It's kind of cool to learn how to use something new, and maybe you can get to building something awesome yourself.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, that was super fun. Again, Taya, I'm really enjoying this. I hope everyone at home is having fun too. So.
Yeah. Well, Casey, you are the host, so you get to cancel us out, but I'll play us out.
Okay. All right. Bye, everyone.
Bye.